Have you ever been called a loner, caught muttering to yourself like a crazy person, or told you overthink every little decision? If you are currently trying to fix these so-called bad habits just to fit in with the crowd, stop right there. You might actually be suppressing a genius brain. Today, we are going to do a quick psychological test. The fascinating truth about highly intelligent people is that they rarely look the way we expect them to. We usually picture someone with a massive IQ as obviously brilliant, constantly talking, solving complex math problems out loud, or showing off their endless knowledge. But cognitive psychology tells a completely different story. Intelligence isn't really about how many random facts, It's about how your brain processes the world. And that complex processing often shows up as subtle, everyday habits that, at first glance, don't scream genius at all. In this video, I have broken down 10 surprisingly common habits of high IQ individuals into 3 main behavioral groups. Grab a pen, or just keep a tally in your head. How many of these hidden signs do you have? If you score a 7 or higher, welcome to the club of the highly intelligent. Let's kick things off with group number 1, social quirks. Sign number 1. Do you spend a ton of time alone? Highly intelligent people are incredibly comfortable with solitude. This doesn't mean they hate people or have social anxiety. It's just that their brains are constantly processing ideas. Solitude gives the prefrontal cortex, the area of your brain responsible for planning, reflection, and complex thinking, the wide open space it needs to work. I'm sure many of you have come home from a crowded party feeling completely drained. That's your brain screaming for quiet time. In fact, research from the London School of Economics found that highly intelligent individuals actually tend to feel less satisfied with frequent social interaction compared to others. Their brains simply crave quiet thinking time. Sign number 2. You observe way more than you speak. Instead of immediately responding or jumping into a debate and conversations, highly intelligent people often watch the social dynamics first. They quietly gather information, analyze emotional cues, and then respond thoughtfully. This silence isn't shyness. It reflects an incredibly strong pattern recognition in social behavior. Sign number 3. Do you talk to yourself? It might sound strange or look a bit crazy to outsiders, but psychologists actually call this self-directed speech. Studies show that talking to yourself can actually improve focus and cognitive control. It helps the brain organize messy thoughts and strengthens working memory. So, when you see someone quietly narrating their own thinking, it may actually be a sign of a highly active cognitive system at work. Moving on to group number 2, the paradox of knowledge. This is where the most fascinating contradictions of a genius brain live. Sign number 4, you are completely comfortable saying, "I don't know." People with very high intelligence deeply understand the limits of their knowledge. In psychology, this relates to the Dunning-Kruger effect, the tendency for less knowledgeable people to overestimate what they know. Highly intelligent individuals often do the exact opposite because they are aware of how much complexity exists in the world. They aren't afraid to admit they lack an answer, because to them, not knowing is just the first step to figuring it out. Sign number 5. You change your mind when presented with new evidence. In a world where people constantly let their egos drive and defend their opinions to the bitter end, extremely smart people tend to treat beliefs as flexible mental models rather than fixed identities. When new information appears, their brain updates the model. In psychology, this ability is linked to cognitive flexibility, a key marker of advanced problem solving. Sign number 6, relentless curiosity. People with high IQs tend to ask questions about almost everything. They don't just ponder big philosophical questions, but small everyday ones. Why do people behave this way? Why does this system work like that? Their brain naturally searches for patterns, and curiosity becomes a kind of mental engine that never runs out of gas. Sign number 7, overthinking the little things. An analytical brain rarely turns off. The exact same cognitive processes that help solve complex problems can also lead to analyzing conversations, decisions, or possibilities in great detail. Sometimes this looks like indecision, but internally, it's a brain exploring multiple mental models at once. Finally, let's dive into group number 3, biological rhythms and subtle insights. Sign number 8, are you a true night owl? Many high IQ individuals report being more mentally active at night. Some researchers connect this with evolutionary psychology, suggesting that individuals with higher cognitive flexibility adapt more easily to non-traditional patterns, like staying awake later. Sign number 9, a uniquely dark or quirky sense of humor. Interestingly, humor requires complex cognitive processing. To understand or create humor, the brain must recognize patterns, break expectations, and connect unrelated ideas. Studies published in intelligence research journals have shown a measurable correlation between higher IQ and advanced humor processing. Sign number 10. A constant search for meaning. High intelligence often comes with an increased awareness of complexity in society, relationships, and human behavior. This can lead to deeper reflection about purpose, identity, and how people make sense of their lives. It's not always dramatic or philosophical. Sometimes it's just a quiet question in the back of the mind. Why do we think the way we do? Take a moment and consider this. How often do we interpret these behaviors incorrectly? Someone who spends time alone may seem antisocial. Someone who asks many questions may seem skeptical. Someone who changes their mind may seem uncertain. But sometimes, these are actually signs of deeper thinking patterns. Perhaps that's the most interesting part of intelligence. It's not just about solving equations or remembering facts. At its core, intelligence is really about curiosity. It's a brain that keeps exploring patterns, questioning assumptions, and trying to understand the strange, fascinating puzzle of human nature. So, after going through these 10 signs, what's your score? Are you a night owl who talks to yourself and overthinks every little thing? Drop your score in the comments down below. And the biggest takeaway I want you to get from this video is this. Never force yourself to be normal just to meet someone else's standards, especially if your brain was inherently wired to operate in an extraordinary way. Your quirks aren't bad habits. They are the gift of a genius mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.